because of the scene, I did go and get a gun and bring it down here.
You're fine? You have any guns on you at all?
No, sir.
Okay. This is your wife and son?
Yes, it's my wife. It's bad. It's bad. I checked their pulses.
Yes, sir.
Oh, God. That's a long story. You know, my son, he was in a boat wreck a while back, and I know that's what that says there. I know it. I know it. Did you check that?
We have a teenage Caucasian male.
Did you check them?
We've got medical guys, and that's what they're gonna do, all right?
You're dead, aren't you?
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like. Yes.
Okay, Alec. I hate to have to do this.
I understand. It's okay. I know the procedures.
Just start at the top.
Well, my wife and son were staying out at our beach house. They came here for dinner, and we were going to see my father in the morning.
Where's your father?
He's in the hospital. After dinner, Maggie and Paul, they decided to go down to the dog kennels. Maggie, she's a real dog lover. Until I...
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. After they went, I took a nap, and then I went to see my mother.
And what time was that?
I guess it was getting to be about 9 o'clock.
Was your mother alone?
No, sir. She has full-time care.
And how long were you there?
40 minutes, maybe. And I came back here, and they weren't in the house. Okay. And so I went down, and I walked up, and I could see them. And I knew that something was bad. It was real bad. My boy, I could see. I could see his parts all over the ground. I could see.
Did you touch Maggie at all?
I did. I touched both of them. I was trying to do it as limited as I could. I was trying to take their pulse. Then I did call 911 pretty much right after that.
What's Maggie and Paul's relationship like?
It's wonderful.
In your relationship with Paul?
As good as could be.
We'll be right back, Alec.
What's the motive?
Husband is sometimes motive enough.
Yeah, but Father, that guy moved heaven and earth to protect that kid. Sheriff Connolly says he knows him well. He and the wife were good.
I tell you what I don't like. If he was anywhere near those bodies like he said he was, they'd be soaked.
Yeah. Unless he already changed out.
From the time he called and the time the first deputy arrived?
Maybe. Anything else?
All that crying. There were no tears. I wasn't buying it.
Everyone reacts differently. Me isn't a suspect. Yet.
So I'm guessing we send him home.
That the wife and son of a prominent South Carolina attorney found dead at the family hunting lodge, colloquially known as Moselle.
It's just awful. Maggie never met a stranger. She'd always make you feel like the most important person in the world. What can I say? Powerful people make powerful enemies.
Get you anything else?
No.
What about Buster?
He's with Maggie's parents. It's just.
I can't believe that.
I know.
Alec, it's your brother. Says it's about your father.
You've been spared the pain of knowing Daddy.
Don't know what to say. It's so awful.
I know, dear. Shelley, when I came to visit my mother, you know, the night it happened, if anyone were to ask, I was here about 40 minutes.
Sure didn't seem so long, Mr. Alec.
I was here for 40 minutes. You're going to be getting married, son.
Oh, I am. Thank you.
Done so much good for my mother. I'd be pleased if I could pay all expenses.
Oh, I don't know.
No. You consider it done.
Thank you.
Scumbag.
If he ain't made whole, things gonna...
She knew that love right to the end. What we know from that terrible night. Maggie was running to her son, her baby, before she herself was struck down. But it is okay to ask why.
Alec, you know what I'm gonna ask you next.
Yes?
Did you kill Maggie?
No.
Did you kill Paul?
No, sir, I did not kill Paul.
Do you know who did?
No, sir, I do not know who did it.
At what point in the evening did you change your clothes?
My clothes? I'm not sure. I guess it would have been when I got back to the house.
5 minutes to an hour, correct?
About 40 minutes, yes, ma'am.
You came back, went inside, changed your clothes, and then found Maggie and Paul?
Yes, ma'am.
Before you found them, you were not at the dog kennels all night.
No, sir, I hadn't been there at all. Agent Hume, Agent Carter. Do you all think that I killed Maggie and Paul?
We have to go where the evidence takes us.
I understand the accident. It's the only thing that makes sense. Paul was the target. And there had to have been more than one shooter, right? Because they were shot with different guns.
The investigation's ongoing.
Is there anything you want to tell us now, Alec?
I've told you everything. I've told you the truth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No statement. No statement. Oh. Damn it, Dean, I thought all that was dry.
It was. We were all in shock, Alec. It was the last thing on our minds. But somewhere, $796,000 is still missing from our partner account.
You're thinking that I stole that?
No, of course not.
You do. My wife and son were murdered. 3 days later, I buried my father.
I know.
I see the way everybody's looking at me, right? They're all hearing me, and I see it on every channel. I see it in the front of every paper. Y'all have to give me some time.
Yes, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, there are a few areas that I haven't really checked yet, so I honestly need a little more time.
All right.
Alec.
Mr. Murdoch, Agent Tower, FBI. You mind if we have a few words?
No, sir. I'll find you.
Of course.
Mr. Murdoch, are you aware that your client, Don Hamilton, has filed a complaint against you?
No, sir. I'm not.
And it has come to our attention he was awarded a $250,000 settlement, none of which he has received.
All right. Well, sounds like something we'd better discuss.
Authorities now turning their focus back to Alec Murdoch as the primary person of interest. An online poll shows that more than 80% of respondents thinks he killed his wife and son.
market is a little soft, and considering the circumstances, it could take some time. Are you in a hurry to sell?
Yes, ma'am. Just find me an offer. I don't care what it is. Excuse me. Isabel?
SLED is reopening the investigation into Stephen Smith's death.
What are you talking about? Hold on. Yes?
Hi, I'm calling about the ad. I'm wondering if the Mercedes is still for sale.
Yes, it is, but I will need to call you back, sir.
I'm just wondering if it's...
Years ago.
I know who he is, but why are they looking into that now?
Mr. Murdoch?
I'll be with you in a minute, ma'am.
Only told me they found something in their investigation into Maggie and Paul. Won't tell me what.
Can you find out?
Wanted you to hear it from me first.
Ma'am, can you come with me now? Because we're going to need to do this at another time.
I'll run some numbers for you and get back to you.
Thank you. $10 million, is that correct?
Night of July 8th, 2015. 19-year-old Stephen Smith was walking home after running out of gas on a small rural road when he was allegedly the victim.
I'm just confirming that the policy's in order. That's what I'm asking here. That's my point. Buster is the sole beneficiary now. Is that correct? And answer me. Yes or no? Because they might be trying to kill me too. Just make sure that it's in order. Thank you.
Why did a local newspaper state the case reeked of insider interference? South Carolina
What are you doing here?
I need to see you.
Seen you on the news?
Yeah, I bet you have.
So why'd you come here?
Can I come in?
Not after what happened last time.
It's me. Yeah, I know it's early. It's not. I need you to do something for me. I'll pay you whatever you want.
County 911. What's your emergency?
I'm on Old Salkehatchie Road.
Okay. What's the address on Old Salkehatchie Road?
I'm by that church.
Which church are you talking about, sir?
I don't know the name.
Okay.
Stopped. Help me. They turned my back. They tried to sue me.
The bullet just grazed you. Lucky to be alive, Alec.
Yes, sir, I am.
Now, you said you had a flat tire, so you were outside the vehicle.
Yes, it was.
And you said it was a blue pickup truck?
It was an older one.
You said? Yeah. You got any description of the man who shot you?
Well, like I said, I did not get a good look at him. Wasn't able to. Excuse me, I had a little cold. Could you get me a blanket, please?
Sure, I'll be right back.
Same person who murdered Maggie and Paul. I mean, it's only logical.
Seems highly unlikely it's not somehow connected, yes.
That's the way that I see it. Yeah, now I'm sorry that I don't have a better description of it. An old blue pickup truck. I mean, you throw a stone in any direction and you're bound to hit any number of them.
We're working on some security camera footage.
Security cameras?
Yes, from the church.
It shows what happened?
No, but it may have caught the assailant's vehicle.
Oh.
Alec, have you ever heard of...
The Cowboys? No, that is something that I'm not familiar with, ma'am.
They deal drugs, Mr. Murdoch, particularly prescription medication.
Opioids.
Oxycontin, oxycodone.
Why don't you take a seat, Alec?
No, I don't know anything about them.
Alec. 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 Look, it's important you be honest with us, okay? If you're in some kind of trouble or if they're responsible for any of this, and your surviving son, Buster, he isn't safe either.
I just never heard of him.
Where'd you put all on your ribs, stomach?
I must have fell harder than I thought after I was shot.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize to y'all. But I don't know any gang called Cowboys. I don't know anything about illegal prescription drugs.
Let me show you something, Alec. Okay. Some bank statements. Then an even larger withdrawal. Where are you spending all that money, Alec?
I hate you asking me for receipts.
Phone records. Calls made about the same time as these withdrawals.
To a burner.
We also have video surveillance of your vehicle traveling through Walterboro around the same time as those withdrawals and calls.
Who were you meeting?
Alec, is that why you stole this?
There's something that you all need to know.
What is it?
That's embarrassing.
I'm clean, Alec. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. I do believe it is. The murders of my wife and my son have caused an incredibly difficult time in my life. I've made a lot of decisions that I truly regret, including diverting funds from one of my clients to pay for my long battle with prescription medications. I am voluntarily entering a drug rehabilitation center because I'm immensely sorry to everyone that I've hurt, including my family, friends, colleagues. I'm asking for prayers as I rehabilitate myself and my relationships. Thank you.
Did the person who shot you also kill your wife and son? Was this the...
It's clever is what it is. People have empathy for him now. Who's gonna blame him for wanting to numb the pain? I'm tired of him being one step ahead of us.
Is he, though?
Mr. Hamilton's settlement pales in comparison. The Satterfield family received over $4 million paid out 2 years ago, deposited into another account of a shell company.
And they had no idea?
Nope. In fact, the Satterfield family was evicted from their home while this guy lived high on the hog. Real upstanding guy.
Where's the money now?
Well, it was in a personal bank account in Buford. 3.8 million of it anyway. It's gone.
Where's he spending that kind of money?
You want a list? Charter jets, vacations, not to mention we think he spent as much as $50,000 a week.
See change up close, Alec. It's more like a fog. Gradually dissipates.
You think you're gonna fix me with metaphors?
If you're honest with yourself, I think you'd agree there's a lot to fix.
And I will.
And how are you going to do that?
I'm a good lawyer.
You've been disbarred, Alec.
I'm gonna fix that too.
Do you think that's realistic?
Watch me.
Now, this is where he slipped up. He used his own social security number for this account here, which was a go-between that we have now linked to these three.
God.
Hang on. Got a make on the blue truck. Curtis Edward Smith. Local. Let's go.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, do you know Alec Murdoch?
I heard him in the news.
Do you have a relationship with Alec Murdoch?
Can't say I do.
Would you like us to show you proof that you were once a client of Mr. Murdoch?
That was a long time ago.
You said you didn't know him.
Look, I ain't killed nobody.
No one has accused you of killing anybody, Curtis.
Well, that's what this about, ain't it? And I ain't tried to kill Alec neither.
Then tell us what happened. But if you tell the truth, that shouldn't matter.
I got a call from Alec, you see, that Saturday morning telling me to come to where he was. I thought maybe it was to fix something. I had no idea what he wanted, I just went. I drove over that stretch of rural old Sackahatchee Road. I found Alec sitting outside his vehicle. He had a gun. It looked like he's gonna shoot himself, so I run over. We wrestled for a minute. Me trying to get the gun from him. Dead, so I run back to my truck and I took off.
What happened to the gun?
Somehow I ended up with it, and like a damn fool, I threw it out the window. I don't know where. I know it's stupid. It's just stupid. I swear that is God's honest truth what happened.
When was the last time you saw Curtis Smith?
A couple of years ago.
When did you speak to him last?
The morning I was shot.
Why'd you lie to us, Alec? Why'd you tell us you didn't know who shot you?
I don't know. How to get out of it. The hole keeps getting deep. My daddy always told me, when the hole got deep, stop digging. But sometimes it feels like there's just no other way out.
Alec, you have the opportunity right now to climb out. Tell the truth about everything. Did you try to kill yourself like Curtis said? Is that what happened, Alec?
It wasn't like that. I didn't try to shoot myself. Well, it's a complicated situation. I wanted my son to get the money.
Buster.
I have a policy on myself, $10 million, and it doesn't pay out if it's suicide. I wanted Buster to get the money so he could get away from all this. I couldn't go on without Maggie and Paul.
You realize that's a criminal act?
I would agree with that.
Insurance fraud is a very serious charge. It carries with it serious consequences.
Yes, I understand. Your Honor, I was severely depressed by the loss of my family, and I was struggling to stop abusing painkiller. It was at that time that I hatched this idea. I was not myself.
Given the circumstances of your rehabilitation, I am granting release, provided you continue your treatment and remain.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning. During our investigation of the double homicide of Maggie and Paul Murdoch, this department has made the decision to open a separate investigation into the untimely death of Gloria Satterfield, the Murdoch's nanny and housekeeper of 20 years. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a question. What do they think happened? It was an accident. The woman fell.
Let's just deal with the matters at hand. You're gonna have to sell the beach house, probably Moselle.
No, what we're going to do, we're going to put everything in Buster's name, and then we're going to find a way to protect him.
Excuse me?
Alexander Murdoch, you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud and embezzlement. You have the right to remain silent. If you give up this right, anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law.
Keep your hands off me. I'm his lawyer. Alec, say nothing. I'm right behind you. Not one word, Alec, not one word.
It wasn't the first time he got aggressive. This time was different. I thought he was gonna kill me. It took months for the bruises to go away.
How long ago was this?
It was after that boat accident.
Why didn't you report it?
Remember Mr. Hakeem Pickney? Now, he was in a traffic accident, required full-time life support. You handled a wrongful death lawsuit against his care facility after his ventilator was unplugged. $1 million of that settlement was diverted into an account in your name.
Lawndale Gray, killed in an ambulance crash in 2012. Her family never received the $122,000 settlement. You did.
You told Sandra Taylor the settlement was $180,000, Alec. The rest went into this account here.
That's it? That's what you got?
Three counts of breach of trust with fraudulent intent. 5 counts of obtaining signatures or property by false pretenses. 14 counts of money laundering. 8 counts of computer data theft. 27 counts of forgery.
My wife and son have been shot.
We are here for the case of the state versus Richard Alexander Murdoch, who has been indicted by a Colleton County grand jury on charge 22 PS 15592, the murder of Paul Murdoch. Mr. Murdoch, are you aware of the charges against you?
Yes, sir.
What say you, Richard Alexander Murdoch? Are you guilty or not guilty of these felony charges against you?
Not guilty.
Noted into the record. Bond request denied.
The case is weak. Slid manipulated the evidential reports at crime scene, everything. There are 2 murder weapons. Neither of them have been recovered. That's the end.
We're going to put together a great team. And we're going to know exactly where to poke holes in their entire presentation.
And not to mention the crux of it all, that I was nowhere near Moselle at the time that they were shot.
We're a little concerned about your mother's caretaker.
Jelly.
She will take the stand, and she will contest that timeline.
She's timid. You know, you push her in the right way, and she'll get flustered on the stand. Plus, it's her word against mine. No, it's all in the jury. You know, how to manipulate, no, how to speak to them. Speaking to a jury is like a work of art for a good lawyer. I'm a good lawyer, Jim.
Now, there's going to be a lot of exposure here. I need you to continue being the grieving father and husband.
And I need one friendly juror that has even this shred of doubt. Because that's the game here, sir. Let's not forget that.
This way, y'all. Over here now. That's right. Follow me. We've got a space set up for y'all inside. Let's go.
Why aren't we in the courtroom?
Come on. There won't be any power outside, so we put you up in the town's biggest tourist attraction, our reptile exhibit. Don't worry. They won't bite as long as you don't tempt them. Remember, no electronics in the courtroom during the trial, so use your computers and phones here. Admission to the courtroom?
Hi, Cash. It's okay.
Hey! He's got a bird in his mouth. It's a guinea.
It's a chicken.
What is this?
Keep watch.
Here, Bubba.
What is this, Jim?
Sled unlocked Paul's phone. This is a video he tried to send to his friend Rogan minutes before they were killed. Alec, you've stated over and over again to lie on the bodies.
That's right.
Is that your voice?
I don't know.
Alec, this is time-stamped. They are going to present this at trial. They're going to claim this is you and that you were at the scene of the crime minutes before they were killed.
It happened the way I said.
How we...
I'll think of something.
Welcome back. Having read instructions to the jury and provided a basis on what is before us, I'm looking forward to working with all of you on this case. You may now proceed with opening statements by the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. On the evening of June 7, 2021, was standing inside some kennels they have there at the property. At about 8:50 p.m., the defendant took a 12-gauge shotgun and shot him in the chest and shoulder with buckshot. Another shot went off with catastrophic damage to Paul's brain and his head. A few moments later, Alec picked up a .300 Blackout assault-type rifle and opened fire on his wife, Maggie. Pow, pow. And then again to the back of her head. Pow. Here's some of what was going on in Alec Murdaugh's life leading up to that day. A perfect storm that was gathering. Listen to the evidence. Listen to that gathering storm as it came to a head on June 7, 2021, the day he killed Maggie and Paul. He was a storm, and it was coming for them. It arrived on June 7 beyond any reasonable doubt.
It is our honor to represent Alec Murdaugh. Alec, would you stand up? This is Alec Murdaugh. Alec was the loving father of Paul and the loving husband of Maggie. And you will not hear a single witness tell you otherwise. It's simply the apple of his eye, nor his wife Maggie, the love of his life. Now you have to ask yourself, why? Why? They don't know why. The investigators, they already made up their mind that night that Alec was the killer. They had no forensics that night. They had no cell phone data. They had nothing that night. Folks, they have been pounding a square peg. Alec Murdaugh is presumed innocent, standing there right now. The burden is on them. And when you've heard all the evidence, there will be no question that you will agree that there's a very good reason why that square peg just don't fit. And that's because Alec Murdaugh is innocent of all these crimes. Is this the shirt Mr. Murdaugh was wearing the night of the murders?
Yes, sir.
The initial report from an outside firm concluded what?
That the blood particles on his clothing is consistent with high-velocity blood spatter.
And what does that mean exactly?
That blood sprayed out from the victim as a result of a gunshot.
So, now would a person have to be close to the victim to have blood spatter on?
2 to 3 feet.
2 to 3 feet. My lord, wouldn't Alec be covered with blood?
Depends on the shooter's position, sir.
Let's talk about that report. Isn't it true that it initially indicated that the blood found on the shirt was consistent with blood transfer?
Yes.
And that it was only in a second report that it was changed from blood transfer to blood spatter?
Yes, sir.
Reports only changed his mind after an in-person visit from 2 SLED agents on September 21st, 2021.
That's correct.
My. Isn't that interesting? No further questions.
Agent Carter, can you explain what these markings indicate?
That's where gun residue was found. In total, we collected 25 particle lifts from the jacket. And I say we...
And this jacket wasn't found at the Moselle property, was it?
No, sir.
Where was this blue jacket eventually discovered?
Inside a closet at the home of Alec Murdoch's parents.
Inside a closet at the home of Alec Murdoch's parents. And, did you see what appeared to be blood on Alec's hands?
I did not.
On his arms?
No.
On his shirt or his shorts, shoes?
No.
That seemed odd to you?
Paul's body. Mr. Murdoch stated that he had checked both bodies for a pulse. If he was in close contact with them, at the very least, his shoes would have been soaked.
And why did that seem significant to you at the time?
It suggested to me that he had changed his clothing before the first deputy arrived on the scene.
Was there any evidence to suggest he changed his clothing?
Yes. There is video evidence that Alec was wearing a blue button-down shirt an hour before the murders.
Where is that shirt now?
It was never found.
Questioned Alec about the missing $796,000. Told him we would be opening an internal investigation. He was upset.
What happened to that investigation?
We wanted to give Alec the benefit of the doubt under the circumstances.
What happened to the pending investigations into Alec's financial schemes after the murders?
They were paused.
And the pending lawsuits filed by the family of Mallory Beach?
Suspended.
And the manslaughter charges against Paul?
I gotta go to bed and call my wife.
I know that, and I am gonna let you go. But you know that one thing I wanted to tell you. Please don't think that I was being critical about that, because I don't think you could have done a better job.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know that I do think that's something to think about, because that's the one thing that seems to me to be a big deal, and I don't know that the jury understands that.
No, I get it.
All right.
Okay, all right. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, but remember, please do not take this as me being critical of you, because I am.
All right. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
What was leaning up against Alec's truck when you arrived on the scene?
12-gauge shotgun.
My Lord. Did he give you any explanation as to why there was a shotgun leaning up against his truck? not long after his son had been murdered by a 12-gauge shotgun?
He said he went to get a gun after he saw what happened.
Is there anything else that seemed odd to you in that moment?
Who just found his wife and son brutally shot, had the wherewithal to volunteer a motive.
Look, it's a long story of my son. He was in a boat wreck a while back, and he's been getting threats.
Miss Smith, what exactly do you do for Alec Murdoch's mother?
I'm a caretaker. She suffers from advanced Alzheimer's. My shift is from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Did Alec come and see you?
Sometime after 9. I was watching a game show. I found it very odd that he called me from outside to let him in. He didn't normally come and visit his mother at that hour because he knew she'd be sleeping. He was quite fidgety. Wasn't himself, was my first reaction.
Why in the world would he call you if he was standing right outside?
I don't know. He'd normally just knock and come in.
Why are you upset, ma'am?
All happened. He was a good family.
What about the next time you saw Mr. Murdoch?
It was a couple of days later. He said if anyone asked, he'd been there for 40 minutes. I knew it was closer to 20, but he repeated to me it was 40.
Did that bother you?
Yes, sir. It upset me. I called my brother about it. It felt like...
Say?
He offered to pay for my wedding.
Had he ever offered that before?
No, sir.
Did he have anything with him?
Yes, sir. What looked like a blue jacket that he folded in his arms. He took it upstairs.
Using the vehicle's OnStar tracker, we were able to confirm that at one point he reached speeds of over.
And how long was Alex Suburban parked at his parents' house?
Less than 20 minutes.
And what time did he return to Moselle?
10:07 p.m.
And how long after he returned did he call 911 and report that he found his wife and son dead?
About 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Hi, Cash. It's okay.
Hey! Come here, Bubba.
Mr. Stepford, you testified that you've known the Murdoch family for many years. How many years?
25 years.
And how well would you say you know Alec Murdoch?
He was like a brother to me.
Can you identify the third voice in this video?
It's Alec Murdoch.
How certain are you?
100%.
Whose voice is it?
It's
Cora, who you're certain that voice belongs to?
Right there. It's Alec Murdoch.
Rest of the team feels the same way. The burden is on them to prove you're guilty, not you having to prove you're innocent.
From where I'm sitting, I have no choice but to prove it.
Alec, you get on that stand. You're going to have to admit that you lied about being at the kennels. And that's going to make it very hard to convince a jury that you're telling the truth.
I know how to work a jury. I've been doing it my whole life.
Not with your own life at stake.
Precisely because... Jim. Let me speak to the jury. Let me look them in the eye and tell them I did not kill my wife and son.
I have an obligation as your attorney to protect you from self-incrimination.
Jim.
It will be a mistake.
Thank you.
The disgraced attorney Alex Murdaugh will in fact take the stand and testify in his own defense.
Please place your left on the Bible and raise your right. Do you swear that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind stating your full name again, spelling your last name.
My name is Alec Murdaugh, M-U-R-D-A-U-G-H. Good morning.
Mr. Murdaugh, did you take this gun and blow your son's brains out on June 7 or any other day or time?
No, I did not.
Mr. Murdaugh, did you take a 300 blackout, such as this, and shoot your wife Maggie in the leg, torso, and head, thereby blowing her brains out?
Mr. Griffin, I didn't.
Mr. Murdaugh, is that you on the kennel videos at 8:45, June 7th, the night when Maggie and Paul were murdered?
It is.
And did you lie to SLED agents Hume and Carter on the night of June 7th when you told them that you stayed at the house after the dinner?
I did lie about that.
And did you lie to agents Hume and Carter in follow-up interviews?
Yes, I did.
Alec, why did you lie?
As my addiction evolved over time, I would get in situations or circumstances where I would get paranoid. And it could be anything that triggered it. It could be a look that somebody gave me. It might be a reaction from somebody, or it might be a policeman following me in a car. But on that night, Mags and Pawpaw, and all of a sudden...
Can the witness clarify Pawpaw?
Paul. I always call him Pawpaw. Always. But all of a sudden, I have deputies taking gunshot tests, and I have SLED agents that are asking about my relationship with my wife and my son, and all of those things. I can reason my way through it. But on June 7th, I don't think that I was capable of reason, and I lied about my being down there. And I'm sorry I did it. And I'm sorry to everyone involved. Most of all, I'm sorry to Mags and Paw. Hurt either one of them. Ever.
And did you continue lying after that night?
Once I lied, I continued to lie.
Why?
You know, it's a tangled web we weave. Once I told the lie, I had to keep lying.
You must have been fast-talking your clients for years to have them all convinced that they were getting everything that they were entitled to.
I don't know if I was talking fast or not to any of them, but I certainly wasn't telling them the truth.
Yeah, but you looked them in the eye, and you lied to them.
It wouldn't have been unusual for me to look at anyone in the eye.
Stealing their money. Isn't that right?
Mr. Waters, you have charged me with murdering my wife and my son. And I have sat here for weeks and listened to you talk about my financial crimes. And I have admitted candidly that I took money that wasn't mine. And I'm sorry that I did it. I'm embarrassed that I did it. But I don't dispute it.
Yeah, but the point is, you looked them in the eye and you lied.
I don't recall each client and...
June 7th, at least according to your new story of what happened, you're telling the truth.
Yes, I've already explained that.
Okay. So, around the time the video is taken, according to your new story, were the dogs barking or carrying on or acting as if they sensed that there was someone there that they didn't know?
Were the dog acting like there was somebody around who they didn't know?
Yeah. You know, like dogs do.
No. There was no one there that they didn't know.
Nobody else was there?
Yes.
Yeah, that would take, 2 minutes to get back to the house in the golf cart? That put you there at 8:49.
Well, according to your timeline, I would accept that.
Now, in your previous story, you said that you slept for an hour before you went over to your mother's house. But according to your new story, you just dozed off for a few seconds.
It would have been a short time, yes.
You're looking this jury in the eye and telling them that you got up after a few seconds, got in your Suburban, you drove away. And you did all that by 9:06.
Yes. No.
And you didn't hear gunshots from a blackout rifle?
No, sir.
And when the police arrived later, you didn't tell them anything about this new story that you're telling us now?
No, sir. I lied about that.
And since then, you've been looking this jury in the eye over and over, trying to convince them that you cooperated with the police investigation right from the very start.
Other than not saying I was down there.
For the most important point of all, that you were at the murder scene with the victims just moments before they died. Right?
I never told them that I went to the kennel. No, sir.
No more questions.
Alec, tell us about your relationship with Maggie.
She was very devoted. We didn't want for anything. And she had a laugh, you know, that you didn't even need to know what was funny, and you just laugh along with her. Yeah. She had this little thing where she would bite her lip and smile. And when she did that, it would just melt your heart. She's just a special person. Oh, he was tough. He could hunt anything. He could catch any fish. But on the other hand, there was this side of him that was just so sweet, you know?
Alec, did you love Paul?
Did I love him? Like no other. He and Buster.
Did you love Maggie?
I loved her from the first time we went out. I would never hurt Maggie. And I would never hurt Paul. Ever. Under any circumstances.
Thank you. I'm not here to have an argument with you. But I will tell you all that SLED failed miserably in their investigation of this case. And if they did their job, Alec could have been excluded from suspicion.
I find it offensive that they would accuse law enforcement of not doing their job, while Alec is withholding and obstructing justice without ever saying, I was at the kennel. He wants to blame everyone else.
Anything his family wanted, he would try and get. Loving relationship between Alec and Maggie. He never raised his voice.
Alec doesn't want to lose his lifestyle, his reputation. Richard Alexander Murdoch loved Maggie and Paul. But do you know who he loved even more than that? Himself. It stops here. Let's exercise our greatest power and find him guilty of killing Maggie and Paul.
The most powerful voice. The jury can tell the state they can't bring a case built on lies and bad theories. On behalf of Alec, on behalf of Buster, on behalf of Maggie and my friend Paul, I would respectfully ask that you not compound a family tragedy.
What do you think of O.J. weighing in on the case?
I get 50 texts a day with people's opinion on this matter. Most say things like, you're horrible people and deserve to die of ass cancer. Journalists, surrounded by snakes and serpents. Now, ain't that interesting?
jury has reached a verdict.
How long has it been?
3 hours.
Please proceed.
In the Court of General Indictment for murder of Paul Murdoch, we find the defendant.
Go get it!
Hi, Cash. It's okay.
Hey! He's got a bird in his mouth! It's a guinea!
It's a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Dad?
Guilty. In the Court of General Sessions, the state versus Richard Alexander Murdoch, defendant. Indictment for murder of Maggie Murdoch. We find the defendant guilty.
Dad.
Hampton County 911, what's your emergency?
Yes, this is Alec Murdoch, 4147 Moselle Road.
A son savagely murdered. A lawyer. A person from a respected family who has controlled justice in this community for over a century. A person whose grandfather's portrait hangs in this very courthouse. It is also particularly troubling, Mr. Murdoch, to see you in the media as a grieving father to being the person who killed him. You have an opportunity to make your final appeal as an ex-lawyer.
I will tell you again that I respect this court. I am innocent. Maggie, I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my son, Pawpaw.
I don't know how a person causes life to be tangled into such a web that you have spun yourself into. But you will have nothing but time to reflect upon this very question. You must see Paul and Maggie at night. Mr. Murdoch, I sentenced you to the State Department of Corrections for the murder of your wife, Maggie Murdoch. I sentence you to the term of your natural life. For the murder of Paul Murdoch, whom you probably love so much, I sentence you to prison for murdering him for the rest of your natural life. And may God have mercy on your soul.
Going down to Jordan Street, God's gonna trouble the water.